One of the best, you got him for a breast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back tonight to the Online Sim Racing Network as we go back side by side with the Extreme Motorsports 99. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Chase Race number 2. That's Chase Race 2 of 5, the Extreme Motorsports 99.com track series, as they present you tonight the Samson Motorsports 128. That's the Samson Motorsports 128, season number 10. This is brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. Your commentator, Sean Zulu, and joining me up in the booth is David Everly, as usual. How are you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, doing good too, thank you. Just ready to get back to the Extreme Motorsports after, unfortunately, I was not able to make it last week to Chase Race 1 from Iowa. And in that race, we did have Gary B. Whitson. Gary Whitson did bring it home for his first win in the Chase Series, but his third win overall this season, season number 10. So congrats to Whitson Motorsports driver Whitson, Gary Whitson, for having a heck of a start to the Chase. Bryce Whitson Jr. came out second, Travis Pryor third, Alex Kingsbury fourth, Hunter McDaniel fifth, Adam Eisenhower sixth, Cody McFadden seventh, Octavia Rondoletto, that's Octavia Rondoletto eighth, John Sterling ninth, and Christian DeFalco did round up the top 10. And ladies and gentlemen, we see you in the chat, so please type it up, get active. And as you do that, I'm going to go over the drivers who are racing in this chase. We have Gary B. Whitson, and for a change this season, ladies and gentlemen, just this season, we have 14 drivers in the chase. Not 13, but 14. So we have Gary Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillen, Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Scott Mitten, Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling, Tyler Holman, Gary Woobot, Bobby Tinch, including Tommy Emasi. I'm going to say that backwards. Tommy Emasi, Bobby Tinch, Gary Woobot, Tyler Holman, John Sterling, Greg Bradshaw, Scott Mitten, Curtis Vollmer, Bryce Whitson Jr., Joshua Gillen, Randy Perdue, Jay Pryor, Hunter McDaniel, and Gary B. Whitson. That's 14 drivers, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in this case, 13 drivers going against Hunter McDaniel for the the trophy, for the crown, for the belt. Hunter McDaniel is our Season 9 champion here in the track series with the Maverick Motorsports team and trying to go for another championship this season in the track series, back to back. But a lot of drivers, a lot of opponents, a lot of enemies, a lot of hungry lions are right behind him and ready to take it, which means one thing, he's going to have to work for it. It will not come easy. And going to the chat, I see those beautiful, that beautiful font and those beautiful names. Gonna go all the way to the top. So far, we only have 2 viewers who typed it up. We have Brandon Ketchum. Welcome back, Brandon Ketchum. Brandon not feeling 100%, but Brandon, we are glad to see you to be able to make it tonight. Hopefully you get well soon, buddy. Get well soon. Stay strong. And Pat T, welcome back. Pat T, it's good to see you again. And Jay Pryor is in this chase. So gonna see, it would be amazing to see some Maverick Motorsports driver. Well, in this case, the Pryor boys, the Pryor men, get back-to-back championships in the Pro Can-N series and also the track series. Well, so far looks like gridding has now begun, and ladies and gentlemen, we are racing at Chicagoland Speedway. That's Chicagoland Speedway, Samson Motorsports 128, Chase Race 2 of 5. And gonna give the drivers just a few seconds here as they grid up with 13 of Gary B. Whitson, our pole sitter tonight, and last week's winner for Chase Race 1, the Fred's Pharmacy 250 at Iowa Speedway with the Whitson Motorsports team. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Gary B. Whitson, your pole sitter here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. And we have Hunter McDaniel, his biggest opponent, his biggest threat here all season long tonight. The defending champion as well, starting in 2nd place. Travis Pryor 3rd. Nick Hunt 4th. Adam Eisenhower 5th. Curtis Vollmer 6th. Tommy Haynes 7th, Joshua Gillen 8th, Cody McFadden 9th, and Greg Bradshaw rounding up the top 10. Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. Highside himself, starting 11th place. Brandon Ketchum here with the Gillen Motorsports team is 12th. John Sterling 13th. Bobby Tinch 14th. Tyler Holman 15th. Scott Mitten 16th. Bryce Whitson Jr. 17th. David Elliott 18th, Jay Pryor 19th, and Chris Voiles rounding up the top 20. We have Garrett Helmlinger 21st, Randy Perdue 22nd, Jason Eisenhower 23rd, Tommy Massey 24th, Scott Brooks 25th, Gary Woobot 26th. And here we have Robert O'Neill, Jeffrey Gillum, and Kerry Cleaver rounding up the rest of the field, giving us about 29 to 30 drivers starting tonight's race at Chicagoland Speedway. We are now rolling behind the pace car being led by the pole sitter 13 of Whitson. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a heck of a season. What an amazing season it's been in the track series and every single series here with the Extreme Motorsports 99.com. So ladies and gentlemen, check out ExtremeMotorsports99.com at their website. And here the Oval Series, the Pro Can-N Series on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Track Series, and Wednesday nights, Xfinity Series. These series are they're all ending in the next 4 weeks. With that said, signups are opening, so which means this is a chance for all the viewers and drivers who would like to be a part of the action next season, season number 11, but now exiting turn number 4, going green. Well, pace car is off. And Whitson finds that Peter gets a laptop by Mr. Restart himself, Travis Pryor. We are green flag racing, lap 1 of 128. The Samson Motorsports 128, chase race 2 of 5, Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Truck Series, brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. And so far here, drivers going single file with 2 laps in, a long way to go. And at this point, these machines do have a lot of grip. At the exact same time, these guys can go wide open for about 5 to 8 laps before they have to start letting off the gas. With that said, the momentum is equal throughout the whole entire field, which makes passing extra difficult early on a run. With that said, once the drivers start having to actually lift, these machines start actually, oh, the caution flies on lap 3, early caution. Gonna see what happened.
I'm trying to look back here. I don't see what brought out the caution there, Sean.
Oh, Dave, I actually found it was some 3 wide. It involved 8-0 Jay Pryor and 12 of Brandon Ketchum.
Yeah, just some unfortunate early contact as they both go through the grass, but doesn't look like any major damage, so they should be able to get right back in there.
Oh, indeed, yep, and great save, nice save, great driving by both Jay Pryor and Brandon Ketchum, and in this case, Jay Pryor is a chase race contender, so I'm glad that he was able to keep that machine unscratched. Well, I'm sure it has a scratch of some sort due to the contact. Yes, it does. The right front specifically is a little bit beat up, but now here with 3 laps in, we have some drivers going down pit road. Travis Pryor, Tommy Haynes, Brandon Ketchum, David Elliott, Randy Perdue, Scott Brooks, Tommy Amasi, Jeffrey Gillam, Robert O'Neill, Kerry Cleaver, and Jay Pryor all down pit road, but the rest of the field stays out. Yeah, no need to pit this early on unless you have some sort of damage on your machine. And going back up front here, the updated top 5 with 4 laps in. Gary Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, Curtis Vollmer, Nick Hunt, and Adam Eisenhower. And ladies and gentlemen, going back to what I talked about, this being an amazing season this far in the track series. Just to give a recap, from the regular race season, we did have 10 races with 8 different winners. I repeat, 10 races with 8 different winners. I doubt that has ever been seen in the Extreme Motorsports Truck Series, but that was a heck of an accomplishment by all 8 drivers who were able to get a win in those 10 races, and the 2 drivers who ended up having more than 1 win, in this case 2 wins, included Gary B. Whitson and 07 of Christian DeFalco. This is Whitson Motorsports driver Gary Whitson with Lucron Automotive. That's Lucron Automotive driver Christian DeFalco. And speaking of Christian DeFalco, I do not see him racing tonight, unfortunately, but hopefully he's going to be back again for the next race, round 3. Chase race number 3 after next week at Pocono Raceway. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, next week all Extreme Motorsports Oval Series are off for maintenance, an off week next week. So the next race, Chase Race 3, will be held on June 12th. That's June 12th at Pocono Raceway. Well, we are back 1 to green with the exact same lineup in the top 5. Gary Whitson, actually that's a scratch that. That has changed quite a bit, but Gary B. Whitson starting ahead of Curtis Vollmer on the inside line. Outside lane being led by Hunter McDaniel still with the help of 00 of Nick Hunt. Yeah, everybody getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. A great restart is a great thing because you can lose or gain spots, or hopefully in this case gain spots on the restarts due to differences in reaction times. Pace car dips off. Whitson finds the pedal and jumps the start. He gets a great restart. The green flag is out. He catches Vollmer and McDaniel off guard, but they are single file side by the second place already before turn number 1. Outside line, ladies and gentlemen, never the place to be on a start or restart. As a result of that, Hunter McDaniel lost that spot to Vollmer and is now trying to regenerate, recharge, and take that spot back here in a few laps to come. 00 Nick Hunt battling 86 of Adam Eisenhower side by side. Nick Hunt goes all the way high. 86 Eisenhower goes to the apron, the shortest way around the racing surface. Entering turn number 1, Nick Hunt drives it in hard and gets around Eisenhower successfully. Oh, but bad exit by Nick Hunt on the exit of 2, and that does cost him some time against Eisenhower. Yep, it costs him time, speed, momentum, and a spot to Eisenhower. And now Nick Hunt bumps down to 5th place. Eisenhower now in the top 5. So I should say in 4th place. To the back behind them, 4-0, Joshua Gillen going against the 88 of Joan Sterling. 2 beasts going at it. Off the exit of turn number 2, though, Joshua gets a good slingshot and clears Sterling successfully. And he maintains the 7th place. And John Sterling, a driver to watch out for. He's been a heck of a driver, a heck of a competitor all season long. And also this being his rookie season with the Extreme Track Series, has done an amazing job. He does have a lot to offer in terms of competition as he now generates with a good run against Gillen. And for the back in the pack, one of our other chase race drivers, the 66 of Bobby Tinch. Bobby Tinch just trying to buy his time, trying to be there for the very end. So far, drafting off 36 of Jason Eisenhower. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a high momentum track, high speed track. With that said, the draft does really help these machines, and they all try their best to use it to the best of their ability, and sometimes it does work against some drivers. For example, in the case of going back up front, the leader, Gary Whitson, the draft working against him because Curtis Vollmer is right on his tail as we speak. For the back in the pack, another chase race driver, 5-0 Scott Mitten gets around the 9 of Chris Voiles, and that bumps Scott Mitten up to the 17th place spot. And now Mitten has his eyes on another prize, and that's the 5 of Randy Perdue. Ladies and gentlemen, the regular race season is totally different from the chase series. With that said, the driving styles, the racing styles, pretty much the mentality of the drivers do change. It does change. With that said, ever since Chase Race 1, it had been go time. And at this point, everybody in the chase trying to take while they can, trying to stay ahead while they can. So at this point here, we have the 5-0 Scott Mitten trying his best to go against his another chase race contender who he has in his sights, the 5 of Randy Perdue. In turn, Perdue going against the chase contender, the 6 of Bobby Tinch. Yep, and Perdue goes against Bobby Tinch. They stay side by side. 2 turns, number 3 and 4. Off turn 4, Bobby Tinch with a slingshot. A drag race exists between the 2 drivers. Perdue might edge him out entering turn 1. Yes, he does have him entering turn number 1, and Perdue now bumped up to 15th place off the exit of turn 2, though Bobby with a slingshot, but not enough to make it stick just yet. 81 of Travis Pryor is on the move so far, trying to take some names. He did start up front in the 3rd place spot, but is now all the way back in 18th place. He did pit in during the first pit stop. I'm not sure why he pitted in. Looks like he might have had to make some adjustments or something, but now is trying to make up for lost time, for lost positions, and now behind Bobby Tinch. Oh, Travis in the wall of turn 2. He spins out in the grass, and the caution flies. Oh, man, Travis' machine has some damage as a result of that.
Yeah, it looks like just a checkup right in front of him here as we see 36 of Eisenhower checking up Randy Perdue, Bobby Tinch. Fortunately, Pryor gets into the back of Bobby Tinch, unable to save it, bringing out our 2nd caution of the night.
Oh man, yeah, indeed. That's a very, very rough incident by Travis Pryor, unfortunately. And man, 5-0 Scott Mitten got on those brakes like no, there was no tomorrow. He actually was able to back it down in time to avoid Travis Pryor. Barely avoided Travis Pryor, so great job to Scott Mitten, leaving that machine scratch-free, in this case damage-free as well. But going back up front, we are still being led by Gary Whitson, who most likely will lead everybody down pit road. Yes, he does. Yep, with 17 laps in, the whole entire field going down pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as this, as fast as this track is, it is momentous once again, momentous and fast. It's a speed track. It does also eat up a lot of tires. At the same time, it is one of the greatest tracks, my personal favorites as well. It also reminds me of Vegas in Charlotte in a way. Gary Whitson able to maintain his lead off pit road. Coming out behind him is Curtis Vollmer. Adam Eisenhower, 3rd, somehow was able to stay ahead of Nick Hunt barely. So we have Adam Eisenhower 3rd, Nick Hunt 4th, and Greg Bradshaw, excuse me, Greg Bradshaw rounding up the top 5 off pit road. And by the looks of it, every single driver on the track decided to take 4 tires with a full tank of gas. Better safe than sorry. 2 tires most likely not the way to go, as we are going to be having a lot of long green flag runs. And ladies and gentlemen, with those green flag runs come a lot of green flag pit stops at the exact same time. Keep in mind, and for a reminder, or for those who might not know, but we have been running a 65% fuel limit. That is a 65% fuel limit, giving us 2 to 3 required pit stops in order for the drivers to be able to make it the full length of the way. It's the exact same tonight, and this track is 1.5 miles in length. And a status check on the 81 of Travis Pryor. Travis Pryor back on the racing surface in the 29th place spot, dead last. Hopefully his machine is able to keep up. Yeah, hopefully it is. Looks like scanning the machine, it's not as bad. It's not too bad. It could have been worse, definitely. It does have damage on the left front and the right front. And unfortunately, since this track is a high-speed track, the damage is really gonna affect the aerodynamics negatively. So hopefully he's still able to counter it with his heavy foot and the help of the draft. And we all know Travis Pryor does have a heavy foot. And going back up front, we are now back 1 to green. Gary Whitson still leading, but now a new leader on the outside line, 48 of Curtis Vollmer, with the help of Nick Hunt. And inside line, we have the leader Whitson being assisted by the 86 of Adam Eisenhower. Oh, and Greg Bradshaw's first appearance in the top 5 from 10th place. Exiting turn 4, going green, everybody getting ready to gain some spots on this restart. Pace car dips up and Whitson finds the pedal immediately. Oh, actually looks like the caution flies. Yeah, looks like the caution flies. Pace car coming back again. Coming back out again. Oh, okay, I see what happened. We had, oh man, we had a big pile up on the restart. It involved actually a lot of drivers. Unfortunately, Robert O'Neill was one of the drivers. Scott Brooks, Randy Perdue, Jason Eisenhower, Brandon Ketchum, Tommy Emasi. Oh man, all these drivers got a piece of the action. Just a big checkup, and what I mean by that is drivers were slowing down or slamming on the brakes. And that did end up causing a chain reaction as everybody just piled in there like some bad traffic jam out there. But that's very unfortunate for every driver involved in that. That's going to really shake things up quite a bit. But going green again this time around, the pace car dipping off. Yep, pace car dips off. Whitson finds the pedal. We are back. Green flag racing. He gets a great restart against Curtis Vollmer, Adam Eisenhower, and Nick Hunt, who are caught sleeping and are trying to play catch up. In this case, Curtis Vollmer gets a great restart as well, as he's able to maintain second place against Adam Eisenhower and Nick Hunt. Nick Hunt so far outside line, being challenged by 74 of Greg Bradshaw side by side off turn 2. 88 of John Sterling. That's 88 of John Sterling, new to the top 10 and almost new to the top 5. He has one more driver to get around, and that's 74 of Greg Bradshaw. But Sterling goes way too wide entering turn 1, and he lost all his ground and is now trying to make up that time off the exit of turn 2, though. Greg with a good slingshot and trying to run down 00 of Nick Hunt, who in turn is pushing 86 of Adam Eisenhower. For the back in the pack, some side-by-side going on. We have Mr. Highside himself, Ralph Van der Vorst, living up to his name, or at least trying to. And here he's going against the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen. Joshua Gillen goes in way too hot, entering turn 1. Good enough, and is able to lead a big nose entering turn 2. But the slingshot takes over Mr. Ralph Van der Vorst with the help of 99 of Whitson Jr. Ralph Van der Vorst able to hold his momentum quite well. We almost have some 3 wide among them. Nope, 99 of Whitson backs it down well. Scratch that 3 wide. He goes down the middle. He splits them like a pizza or like a cake. And now Ralph Van der Vorst is trying his best to hold off 5-0 of Scott Mitten. That was a textbook pass by Bryce Whitson. Great job. Oh, 4-0, Joshua gets loose off the exit of turn 4. And let's get them squirrely. Bobby Teach as well gets loose. He taps the 4-0 of Joshua Gillen. They save it. Still green, flag racing. How did they save that? Oh, man, that was a nice save by the drivers. But 4-0 of Joshua Gillen. Gonna pay the price as well. And including Bobby Tinch, both drivers trying to play catch-up as we speak. And for the back in the pack, 42, that's the 42 of David Elliott. David Elliott as well making moves of his own. He is on the move as we speak. And now getting some serious draft from Mr. Highside himself, Ralph Van der Vorst. And David as well pulling on a chase driver, 8-0 of Jay Pryor and 5-0 of Scott Mitten. Oh, the caution flies on lap 28. Gonna see what happened.
That's going to involve the 69 of Kerry Cleaver here as we go back on the replay. Focusing on Cleaver. Just got on the apron. He got loose, tried to save it, sent him back up the truck, and he went on his roof. So let's go here in the cockpit with Kerry Cleaver. Take a look here to see what happened. He just lost it coming through the trioval. I think that the transition got him. As it got his truck all squirrely and tried to save it, but unfortunately right back up on the track into the outside wall and onto his roof.
Oh man, indeed. Hopefully he's doing well after that impact. As a result of that too, he did end up blowing his motor. So he was most likely going to be on pit road for quite a while. Unfortunately, that's an unfortunate end to Kerry Cleaver's night. Hopefully, though, the machine is able to get back to life and put down some more laps before the race ends. But going back up front, Whitson Jr., Gary B. Whitson, leading everybody down pit road. And absolutely there, Pat. Yeah, I hope, I'm glad nobody else was involved. Indeed, that could have been worse. And the 4-0 of Jay Pryor staying out just this one lap. But he will be pitting in this time around. He always sticks to this strategy, where he stays out a lap extra, or a lap longer than than everybody else, and then goes down pit road. And Joshua Gillen as well is a chase race driver, but unfortunately his machine is beat up. But that does not count him out of the race tonight. He is still in it to win it. Going back to the race off pit road, it was won by Gary Whitson, able to maintain his lead off pit road. Curtis Bummer comes out second behind him. Nick Hunt third. Adam Eisenhower fourth. And Greg Bradshaw comes fifth off pit road. No, don't worry, Pat. We enjoy it. Just keep talking. In the updated top 10 this far, Gary Whitson, Curtis Vollmer, Nick Hunt, Adam Eisenhower, Joshua Gillen, Greg Bradshaw, Cody McFadden, John Sterling, Hunter McDaniel, and Bryce Whitson Jr. And Bryce Whitson Jr. is new to the top 10 this far. He did start in the 17th place spot and is now running up the top 10. And some of our heaviest movers do include Bryce Whitson from 17th to 10th, David Elliott 18th to 11th, Jay Pryor 19th to 12th. We have Jeffrey Gillum from dead last from 29th place to 16th, Gary Woobot from 26th to 17th as well. So congrats to these heavy movers here this far with a 31 laps in. And also speaking of Gary Woobot in the 15 machine, he did get himself locked into the chase last season as well. And this season as well, this was his biggest wish too. When we talked to him once during the interviews, he talked about how he was going to try and do the exact same thing and try his best to get himself into the chase. And just like that, he is a chase race driver. So congrats to Gary Woobot. We are now back 1 to green, being led still by Gary Whitson with the help of Nick Hunt on the inside. Outside lane being led by Curtis Vollmer with the help of Adam Eisenhower. And Hunter McDaniel is in the 8th place spot. He did start up front though in the 2nd place spot. I'm sure he'll be getting up there before too long, and looks like he actually sustained some damage on the front end of that Toyota Tundra. So hopefully the damage is not as bad as it looks. Exiting turn number 4 this time around, the pace car dips off. And just like that, Whitson finds the pedal, catches everybody off guard, gets a great restart. And Vollmer able to maintain 2nd place against Nick Hunt and Eisenhower, who are going side by side for the 3rd place spot. But Nick Hunt with the preferred race groove is able to get around Adam Eisenhower. And that keeps Adam in the 4th place spot. We are back green flag racing, but look at that. We have Cody McFadden right behind Adam Eisenhower here on the backstretch. And the 2 fastest drivers we had in practice today, here tonight, were Gary Whitson, our post sitter, and Cody McFadden. Their pit times, their lap times were only separated by 0.02 of a second. So in this case, Gary did run a 31.112 for his fastest time in practice versus Cody McFadden, who had a 31.114 in practice. And right now, Cody McFadden just trying to buy his time, but he sustained some right rear damage on the machine. But he is still tracking nice and strong ahead of his another opponent in the chase, the 74 of Greg Bradshaw and Hunter McDaniel right behind. Greg Bradshaw makes a mistake off the exit of turn 2, and that mistake does cost him. He gets overtaken by both Hunter McDaniel and John Sterling, and bumping him down to 8th from 6th. And 17 of Tommy Haynes. Tommy Haynes got a piece of the action, unfortunately, on the 1 restart where there was a very big checkup. And as a result of that, sustained some damage, but he is still tracking nice and strong. He did start in the 7th place spot. He's now in 14th place, in between Scott Mitten and 77 of Tyler Holman. We have a new viewer tuning into the chat. That's a new viewer in the chat. Welcome to the online sim racing network there, Alexander. Hope you're doing well tonight. Hope you're doing well. And as we speak, 5-0 of Scott Mitten going against the 61 of Jeffrey Gillum. They are side by side, but not for long. A slingshot engaged by Gillum against Mitten. But to counter that, Scott goes to the apron. The shortest way around the racing surface is the shortest way around the racing surface. But still not enough to make it stick. And Jeffrey able to maintain 14th for now. And we have a three-way battle among Hunter McDaniel, John Sterling, and Cody McFadden. And so far, Hunter McDaniel leading this pack of hungry lions. And we have McFadden drafting off McDaniel here so far. 88 of Sterling on the inside line, trying to overtake both, kill two birds with one stone. But so far, Hunter able to stay ahead of John Sterling. At the same time, John clears 64 of McFadden. And they are now 5th through 7th place. Well, Hunter McDaniel 5th place, back in the top 5. Congrats to Hunter. John Sterling 6th, and Hunter McDaniel 7th. 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. gets around 74 of Greg Bradshaw. And that bumps Whitson up to 8th place, Bradshaw down to 9th place. And now Whitson Jr. has his eyes on Cody McFadden. The draft is very strong. The momentum is great. The speed is great. And these drivers having an amazing time. But then they do still have to save those tires. And ladies and gentlemen, let's actually ride on the in-car with 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. just so we can see how he's handling the machine. As we watch there, Greg Bradshaw was able to get around Bryce Whitson Jr., but Bryce is trying to get a run against Bradshaw, but so far seems like Bryce Whitson might have burned up his stuff running through the field. Because here, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the tire conservation. The more you push, the more you pay. But so far, Bryce maybe burned up his stuff, or maybe just backed it down to save what he has left. And as we saw right there, Greg Bradshaw got around 64 of Cody McFadden. So there, Bradshaw able to gain 2 spots in 3 laps. And for the back in the pack, 77 of Tyler Harmon. Tyler Harmon, unfortunately, his machine as well does have damage. He got involved in one of the incidents and is now trying to draft off the 50 of Scott Mitten, a fellow chase race contender. Unfortunately, here Harmon seems to be under speed and is just trying to take what he can while he can. And so far, he is being approached by the 9 of Chris Voiles. For the back in the pack, we have the 30-30 of Robert O'Neill. Just got around Bobby Tinch on the caution, flies on lap 46. I see a driver off the track in the grass. The 81 of Travis Pryor involved. Let's see what happened.
Well, it looks it's just a single truck spin there. It looks like the back end stepped out on him as he was coming through. I think that's turns 3 and 4 there. Or actually, turns 1 and 2, and he just got down into the grass. Single truck spin. No other trucks involved. No damage to that 81 machine. Just going to set him back in the back of the field.
Oh, that's very, very unfortunate indeed for Travis Pryor. But nice save on his part, not involving anybody else in it. And great awareness at the same time by the drivers, staying out of that one. Well, here going back up front, we are still being led by Gary Whitson, who will most likely, yes, he leads everybody down pit road, and they do follow. And at this point, the drivers have 18 laps since their last pit stops. And we have lost one driver, unfortunately, the 3 of Garrett Helmlinger. We look forward to seeing Garrett Helmlinger back next week, after next week, June 12th, for chase race number 3 at Pocono Raceway, the Overtons 150. And just like that, Gary Whitson able to maintain his lead off pit road. Curtis Vollmer comes out second, Adam Eisenhower comes out third, Nick Hunt comes out fourth, and Hunter McDaniel comes out fifth. So it looks like the top 5 drivers were able to maintain their spots. But Bryce Whitson Jr. actually gained 3 spots, overtaking Cody McFadden, Greg Bradshaw, and John Sterling. And this, ladies and gentlemen, gives us time for a race interview. Let's focus on the 42 of David Elliott. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we joined up in the booth by one of the aliens here tonight, 42 of David Elliott. Good up there, David.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, man.
Well, David, seems like so far you have one of the best handling machines. How's your race going so far?
It's going pretty good. Just trying to manage my tires, keep all the fenders on it, and wait to the end here. But pretty good setup.
Oh, most definitely. And also, we noticed you guys had about a 15-lap run during the last green flag cycle. What did you notice when it came to the tire wear? In this case, basically, what was the handling change?
Yeah, it started getting a little tight there towards the end of that run. But as long as you keep managing your tires pretty good, you can, manage. It's not too bad, but a little bit tight. Other than that, just trying to keep the nose clean.
Oh, 10-4, brother. Well, David, here tonight you have come from 18th place to 10th place, and something tells me you're about to go 9 spots higher by lap 128. What are your plans for the rest of the race?
Just kind of ride here for a little bit more and hopefully try to sneak out a win here a little bit.
Oh, copy that, man. Well, you're doing good so far. Keep up the good work and see you at Victory Lane.
Hey, forward. Thank you, guys.
That was 42 of David Elliott, currently in the 9th place spot, now starting behind the 88 of John Sterling on this restart. We are now back 1 to green, still being led by Gary Whitson with the help of Adam Eisenhower. Outside line being led by Curtis Vollmer with the help of Nick Hunt. We are going green, and Nick Hunt with a dent in the rear end. Looks like some contact was made for the back in the race. He is starting ahead of the 99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. Exiting turn number 4, the pace car dips off and Whitson finds the pedal, and so does 48 of Curtis Vomer. Our green flag racing, but a driver caught sleeping the zero of Nick Hunt, and Nick Hunt trying to play catch up, paying the price as we speak, goes from 4th place to about 7th place in 1 lap, but catches a break in between 88 of Sterling and Hunter McDaniel off the exit of 2 Welsh. Scratch that, Sterling to the inside of Nick Hunt, side by side. A drag race here between Nick Hunt and John Sterling as Nick Hunt tries to hang on for dear life, but Sterling seems to have him. But nope, Nick Hunt says, I want to take that back. That 5th place spot belongs to me off turn number 2 as slingshot engaged by Nick Hunt, and they stay side by side on the backstretch. The exit of turn 4 there looks like 88 of Sterling was able to get ahead of Nick Hunt. At the same time, he brought 99 of Whitson with him, and that bumps Nick Hunt down to 7th place, and now Nick Hunt being approached by 74 of Greg Bradshaw here as we speak. For the back in the pack, 61 of Jeffrey Gillam. Jeffrey Gillam going down pit road this time around. Oh, looks like Jeffrey Gillam here having to serve a penalty under green flag conditions. He's going to do a drive-through real quick. That's unfortunate for Jeffrey Gillam. Hopefully he's able to make up for lost time, but he most likely will go a lap down. So, but the good thing is he will be in the lucky dog position for another caution if the caution comes out. So fingers crossed for Jeffrey Gillam. But up front here, 88 of John Sterling now going against Hunter McDaniel for the 4th place position. And here so far, Sterling to the inside, McDaniel on the outside. McDaniel makes his stick nice and tight, nice and strong on the outside. A slingshot engaged by McDaniel, and he's slowly edging out Sterling. Here before turn number 3, but then the inside lane comes back into play in the turn. They are still drag racing, but Sterling goes to the inside line, the apron, and takes the 4th place spot away from McDaniel. And ladies and gentlemen, a trick to making a pass at the track like this, or in this case, a way to avoid getting overtaken. So in this case, we see the outside line is not really the preferred race groove. And as we can see right now, Hunter McDaniel is trying his best to pinch John Sterling down to the inside lane, close to the apron as much as he can. That pretty much forces Sterling to let off the gas, because if Sterling stays in the gas, he will end up washing up into Hunter McDaniel and might cause the biggest junk known to mankind. But here off turn number 2, off turn 2, they almost make contact, but no harm done. Sterling able to lead a big nose against McDaniel. '99 of Bryce Whitson Jr. being a helping hand, a helping bumper to 88 of Sterling on the inside against McDaniel. For the last 3 laps, McDaniel has been trying his best to hold off both Whitson Jr. and Sterling. He goes to the inside of Sterling, crossover move, and now they'll stay side by side in 3 and 4. Oh, they made contact! Oh, that shoots 88 of Sterling up the track. Oh, they both save it, though we are still green flag racing. And looks like not much momentum or speed was lost by either drivers. So great driving by both machines. At the same time, Whitson Jr. and Hunt had to back down. They make contact again. Oh, man. Exchanging paint. It's part of racing. It is part of racing. Yep, Robbing is racing these drivers, defining that here with every single turn, and as we speak, they are still side by side. And we hear Bryce Whitson assisting 88 of Sterling on the outside line, and Sterling gets a good run entering turn number 1. Oh, Sterling gets a great run off turn 2 as well and clears Hunter McDaniel successfully. But now Bryce Whitson on the outside of McDaniel. But look at that, we have a helping hand to Hunter McDaniel. That's the 0 of Nick Hunt in turn 3, but he backs off, looks like he backs off. Oh, Hunter McDaniel makes contact with Bryce Whitson Jr. No harm done. We are still green flag racing. They're still pushing about 180 miles per hour entering turn number 1. They somehow kept their speed. And off turn 2, Bryce Whitson just might have Hunter McDaniel, but McDaniel as well is fighting for dear life, trying to hold them off. Yeah, so far from what we can see, from what we can tell, the inside is just as good as the outside. I should admit the slingshots are not as powerful as they used to be. So basically that means the inside line is quite even with the outside. And here we have W0 Nick Hunt taking it 3 wide against McDaniel and Whitson Jr. Nick Hunt and Bryce Whitson both get around Hunter McDaniel, but now they stay side by side for 5th place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with the 63 laps complete and 66 laps remaining, we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Samson Motorsports 128. That's the Samson Motorsports 128 Chase Race 2 of 5 Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series Season number 10. Brought to you by the Advanced Simulation Products.com. That's Advanced Simulation Products.com, specializing in custom button boxes. And ladies and gentlemen, this in the Oval Series of the Extreme, which means Pro Can-Am Series, Track Series, and Xfinity Series. The seasons are coming to an end in the next 4 weeks, which means sign-ups are opening for those of you who'd like to be a part of the action, which means you'd like to be a driver, become a driver for next season. Now would be the time. Check them out. ExtremeMotorsports99.com. Drop the first E in Extreme and start with the X. ExtremeMotorsports99.com. At the same time, too, they do have a road series as well that go on, so you can also join those based on your preference. That's once again ExtremeMotorsports99.com. We're going back to the race here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, green flag pit stops are taking place as we speak. We already had some drivers pit in. We have Bobby Tinch on pit road. That's Bobby Tinch on pit road. It's just left pit road. Adam Eisenhower did pit in. Bryce Whitson Jr., Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Robert O'Neill, Tommy Haynes, and Chris Voyles all went down pit road for their first green flag pit stops. And what I noticed about all these drivers, well, the earliest driver pitted with 19 laps on their tank and tires, and that was Bryce Whitson Jr. But now the leader's coming up to 28 laps on their tanks and tires, but 5-0 Scott Mitten on pit road this time around. And we had an incident occur while we were on commercial break, and it was between Hunter McDaniel and Bryce Whitson Jr. Pitting in here is very, very tricky, ladies and gentlemen. The transition from track to apron, in this case, Bryce Whitson Jr. was pitting in and trying his best to get off the track as Hunter McDaniel was carrying a lot of speed and actually made contact with Whitson Jr., but they were both able to make it out of that alive. But then Bryce Whitson did go in way too hot and got caught speeding on pit road. But the leader up front, Gary Whitson, going down pit road this time around with 28 laps on his tank. We have also Ralph Vanderforst, Nick Hunt, and Gary Woobot pitting in. David Elliott, Tyler Hallman, Cody McFadden. Everybody following the leader. But that does pass the race lead over to Curtis Vollmer. Curtis Vollmer leading his first lap of the evening this time around. John Sterling second, Greg Bradshaw third. Curtis Vollmer giving up the race lead and going down pit road this time around. And Randy Perdue as well, peeling off. And John Sterling here peeling off. Oh, the caution flies. Gonna catch a lot of drivers on pit road. Oh, gonna see what happened.
Oh man, that's gonna be the 05 of Tommy Amassi here as we go back to the replay. As he was falling behind the 36 there of Eisenhower, the back end just kicked out and he went around sideways and then down into the grass just enough to bring out the caution. Didn't hit anything, but real unfortunate there is that's going to catch a lot of drivers a lap down.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, Tommy's back end just kicked around, similar to the same incident with Travis Pryor in the exact same turn and the exact same way. So it looks like it's those old tires kicking in. Well, here going up front, this caution actually caught some drivers at a bad time. We're going to see exactly how things play out once we are ready to go back. Green flag racing by Joshua Gillen here being shown the new race leader. So congrats to Joshua Gillen for taking the race lead this time around with 78 laps in. Well, at this point, everybody on the lead lap has pitted in, except for about 5 to 6 drivers, namely Joshua Gillen, Brandon Ketchum, Greg Bradshaw, Jeffrey Gillum, including Tommy and Massey. They still need to pit in, but everybody else has already pitted in this far. And Joshua Gillen gives up the race lead to go down pit road, accompanied by his teammate with the Gillen Motorsports team. That's Gillen Motorsports team, Brandon Ketchum. We also have Greg Bradshaw, Jeffrey Gillam, Hunter McDaniel, Bryce Whitson Jr., Tommy M. Massey, and Jay Pryor, all going down pit road as well. And the fastest green flag pit stop we had, we actually had a tie of the fastest green flag pit stop. It went to Hunter McDaniel and Adam Eisenhower, having 13.8 seconds spent on pit road. And due to the caution coming out at such a time, we have a couple of drivers being shown one lap down. Tyler Holman, Tommy Haynes, Ralph Vanderforst, Bobby Tinch, Randy Perdue, Gary Woolbot, Scott Brooks, Jason Eisenhower. All these drivers one lap down, but the good thing they are behind the pace car, which means they'll be getting the wave around. Once the lights on the pace car do turn off. At the same time, another positive thing is they all have less than 10 laps since their last pit stop, so that's not going to affect them too much, if any, once it comes down to the green flag racing aspect. And Alexander in the chat just discovered iRacing. Yeah, Alexander, you're not going to regret it, so check them out. Absolutely, iRacing.com. They have everything, just like Pat T had talked about. You will enjoy it. And going back to the race here with a new updated top 10. Well, first of all, a new race leader, Curtis Vollmer, Adam Eisenhower second, John Sterling third, Gary Whitson fourth, Nick Hunt fifth, David Elliott sixth, Cody McFadden seventh, Joshua Gillen eighth, Brandon Ketchum ninth, and Jeffrey Gillam in the 10th place spot, rounding up the top 10. And Jeffrey Gillam is new to the top 10 this far. He did come once again from dead last, from 29th place to 10th place. So great job by Jeffrey. He'll be going 9 spots higher before too long. And as promised, all the drivers who were behind the pace car, who were lapped down, getting their laps back as we speak. Well, this lineup includes Curtis Vollmer in the lead with the help of John Sterling, Adam Eisenhower on the outside with the help of 13 of Gary Whitson, who's led the whole entire race. Well, he's led the most laps here in tonight's race this far. And I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat the number of laps he led. But we're going to find out here once the race ends. And we are now going green. Exiting turn 4, pace car dips off, and the leader Vollmer finds the pedal. Samson Motorsports driver, and Adam here able to maintain second place against 88 of John Sterling. We are back green flag racing. Chase race 2 of 5. Samson Motorsports 128. Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series Season 10. Brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. PureDrive.com, specializing in custom button boxes. And some side-by-side between 88 of Sterling and Adam Eisenhower for second place spot. And Sterling just might take away second place away from Eisenhower. And yes, he does. And yeah, for the second match of Jay Pryor tonight, if any, but Jay Pryor here has been keeping a low profile, just pretty much riding, trying to buy his time. Or a big check up in exiting turn 4, they're going to go 4 wide, 5 wide, they're wrecking. No, Gary Whitson involved, Jay Pryor involved, they keep piling in there. Jason Eisenhower, Scott Mitten, Gary Whitson, Robert O'Neill, Nick Hunt, Bryce Whitson, Cody McFadden. I'm not even sure where to begin, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, look at the replay. There's just so many trucks. We have to watch this from the blimp just to check up front. And Garrett, as you said, Gary B. Whitson's involved that. Cody McFadden, Jay Pryor, Hallman was in there, Eisenhower, just a whole bunch of our front runners. Man, this is not good.
Oh man, indeed. That's the big junk at its finest. Yeah, that takes out a lot of our heaviest contenders, a lot of chase race drivers, and unfortunately, Hunter McDaniel calling it a night, retiring early for the evening. Oh man, that's very, very unfortunate. Oh, pit road is going to be a very, 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 very busy place this caution. So 4-0, Joshua Gillen gets a little bit of a piece of the action. Cody McFadden once again, Nick Hunt, Bryce Whitson Jr., Gary Whitson, Robert O'Neill, Jay Pryor, Scott Mitten, Jason Eisenhower, Jeffrey Gillum, and Scott Brooks all getting a piece of the action. But the drivers who were able to survive as a result of being ahead of the incident, Curtis Vollmer, John Sterling, including Adam Eisenhower. Also lost one more driver, Robert O'Neill. And in the case of Robert O'Neill, a Bandit Motorsports driver, that's Bandit Motorsports driver, he's had, it's been his rookie season. It's not been the best season either because he's been involved. He's had some serious bad luck. Pretty much almost every single race he's raced. But it is great to see him coming back. But look forward to seeing him back again for next race, Chase Race 3 at Pocono Raceway with the Tricky Triangle, June 13th. June 12th. And yep, pit road is a very busy place as we speak, and keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, no backup cars, no quick fixes, no fast repairs, which means the truck you brought is the truck you have to end up with at the very end of the race, which means that you will have to get that damage fixed by your pit crew, or else your night just might be done, as you see in the case of many. And Pat, in the status check on Jay Pryor, I should admit his machine is doing well. With that said, he should be able to still stay competitive. The back end is all clean, not a single scratch on it. You can see the Pat TI paints on there. That's a very, very well-dressed machine. So all the damage is on the front, just a little bit on the front, the right front. I'm surprised it wasn't worse, but he was able to slow down in time to avoid making that worse than it was. So great job to Pryor. He lives to fight for the rest of the race. And up front here, still being led by Curtis Vollmer, who is saving gas, with more than half the field doing the exact same thing, saving gas, trying to make it on just one more pit stop. Yes, we still have one more required pit stop in order for the drivers to be able to make it the rest of the way here. At this time, we have 42 laps left. Well, once we go green, it will be 41 lap shootout coming up. We are now back 1 to green, still being led by Curtis Vollmer with the help of Brandon Ketchum. Brandon Ketchum's highest appearance here in tonight's race. Great job, Brandon Ketchum, staying alive. He is up here in the 3rd place spot, starting in the 12th place spot. And outside, we are being led by John Sterling with the help of Greg Bradshaw. 48 of Vollmer finds the pedal. The green flag is out. He gets an amazing lead, a commanding restart against the rest of the field. And John Sterling was caught sleeping and trying to play catch up. And Brandon Ketchum to his inside. Brandon going to most likely happen before the exit of turn 2. They still stay side by side. Brandon being assisted by the 86 of Eisenhower. But Sterling was able to somehow power off the exit of turn number 2 and clears Ketchum, entering turn 3 successfully. Oh, Ketchum goes sideways off turn 4. He says he's in the grass. He goes sideways again. He saves it though. Still green flag racing. Oh, that's very unfortunate though for Brandon Ketchum. He was up there in 3rd place, but now has gone all the way back to about 13th place in just 1 lap. He's trying to get back out there and make up for lost time. And looking at the incident that occurred, it looks like he actually tapped the apron. Yes, he tapped the apron and got some assistance from the rear. Actually, no, he didn't get touched. He tapped the apron, which sent his machine sideways. But once again, still a nice save. Tyler Hallman 5-0, Scott Mitten going at it side by side as we speak for the 5th place spot. Tyler Hallman here is currently getting edged out by Scott Mitten off turn number 4 though. They stay side by side. Slingshot paying off for Tyler Hallman despite his machine being beat up quite a bit. It is still trucking. He got a lot of damage fixed on pit road, so great job to the Samson Motorsports pit crew. Tyler Hallman's machine, they were able to get that thing fixed enough for it to stay competitive as he drafts off his opponent for the chase, or in the chase, Scott Mitten. Also 17 of Tommy Haynes, who did have a rough start to tonight's race, is now all the way back in the 7th place spot where he started tonight's race. He was for the back in the pack there in the 25th place spot at one point, but now back in 7th place. So great job to Tommy Massey. He is still trucking, he is still rolling, taking names. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here in the next 10 laps from now, if the drivers pit in, they will be able to make it the rest of the way. So at this point, we do have 36 laps left on lap 93. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note here now, with 35 laps remaining and 94 laps complete, gonna go ahead and take one more commercial break, a real quick one. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Samson Motorsports 128. That's the Samson Motorsports 128 Chase Race 2 of 5 Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series Season number 10. Brought to you by the AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. So check them out, AdvancedSimulationProducts.com. And at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, for the new viewers out there, first of all, welcome to the Online Sim Racing Network. Hope you guys are having an amazing evening this evening. Hope you guys are enjoying the show as well. Being put on by these amazing truck drivers in the Extreme Motorsports Truck Series. And check them out at their website, ExtremeMotorsports99.com. They have a lot to offer. Road racing, oval racing, different series, different machines, different racetracks. So you guys can join based on preference and experience. So once again, ExtremeMotorsports99.com. And going back to the race, ladies and gentlemen, we now have 24 laps left in tonight's race. With that said, at this point, if anybody, well, for the drivers can pit in now or anytime from now and be able to make it. And in this case, we've already had some green flag pit stops take place. We've had Jay Pryor pit in, Brandon Ketchum, Tommy Haynes, including Bryce Whitson. Actually, scratch that. Bryce Whitson has retired, unfortunately. So we had Nick Hunt, Cody McFadden, Gary Whitson, Jay Pryor, Brandon Ketchum, including Tommy Haynes pit in for the final pit stops of the evening, and some more pitting in as we speak. Joshua Gillen, David Elliott, and Adam Eisenhower all down pit road. And our current race leader is a Samson Motorsports driver, Curtis Vollmer. And second place driver is Greg Bradshaw, but up front, Vollmer backing it down. The Lowe's machine going down pit road this time around for his final pit stop of the evening, but Greg Bradshaw stays out and is now our new race leader on lap 107 with 22 laps left. So Curtis Vollmer, Tyler Holman, Bobby Tinch, and Gary Woolbot all down pit road, including Gary B. Whitson. And Greg Bradshaw, oh man, he slams on the brakes too hard. He locks the front end up and goes sideways, but able to hang on to it. But is going down pit road this time around, gives up that race lead. 5-0, Scott Mitten takes over the race lead on lap 108. You have Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling on pit road, Scott Brooks included, pitting in this time. So at this point, we have only 3 drivers on the whole entire field who need to pit in, namely Scott Mitten, Randy Perdue, including Ralph Vanderforst. That's Ralph Vanderforst, Randy Perdue, and Scott Mitten, who need to still pit in, And now 20 laps to go. That's 20 laps remaining. Scott Mitten is staying out, trying to run his tank dry. Now coming up to 27 laps on his tires and tank. And something tells me at this point, Randy Perdue and Scott Mitten are trying to play the track position game, which means they're hoping for a caution. Because if a caution comes out, they should be able to maintain the race lead, even though they'll end up pitting in. But if the caution does not come out and they end up running the tanks dry, they will get run down by the rest of the field. Speaking of that, we have Adam Eisenhower. Adam Eisenhower just got around, actually Adam Eisenhower and 48 of Curtis Vollmer just got around Scott Mitten and got their laps back the hard way. That's not a good thing. And what you just saw right there, ladies and gentlemen, those 2 drivers, Vollmer and Eisenhower, getting around Mitten. That's what a new set of tires does. So that's new tires versus old tires. So you can see right there, Mitten is way under speed because it's trying to save that machine. It's got way little grip, and that is never a good thing. He's trying his best to just buy his time. He's still hoping for a caution though. And going back to Adam Eisenhower and Curtis Vollmer, before the pit stops, Curtis Vollmer was the leader, and Adam was behind him in about 3rd or 4th place, but looks like Adam was able to get ahead of Vollmer off pit road. And looking at their pit times right now, Curtis Vollmer actually had a faster pit stop of 13.9 seconds versus Adam with a 14.1 second pit stop. So surprisingly, Adam was able to get ahead of Vollmer, but they're going back side by side for the 3rd place spot as we speak. And Vollmer gets around Adam Eisenhower, and that bumps Vollmer up to 3rd place. Adam Eisenhower down to 4th, but nope. Adam says, I want that back. He goes to his inside, side by side. And some bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Drivers we've lost tonight include Garrett Helmlinger, Chris Voiles, Robert O'Neill, Hunter McDaniel, Jeffrey Gillum, Kerry Cleaver, Travis Pryor, and Bryce Whitson Jr. Unfortunately, we've lost all these drivers. Had an early night, had to park the machines due to heavy damage. But we look forward to seeing these drivers back for next race, Chase Race 3, after next week. Because keep in mind, once again, Extreme Motorsports is off next week. It's an off week, so they'll be back again the week of the 9th. So be back then. So the next race in the track series for Chase Race 3 is June 12th. That's June 12th. The Overtons 150 at Pocono Raceway. Yes, the Tricky Triangle. Randy Perdue going down pit road this time around. And that just leaves 1 driver on the lead lap who still needs to pit in, and that is still Scott Mitten. And now 13 laps remaining, 13 laps to go. Oh, looks like Scott Mitten just sustained some damage on the right front. The machine is pushing tight. Oh yeah, he smacked the wall, unfortunately. Oh man, hopefully the machine is not affected too bad. Hopefully he's still able to keep his momentum and speed. And at one point, we only had Scott Mitten and Randy Perdue, the only two drivers on the lead lap, and the whole entire field one or more laps down. But now, as we speak, we have 5 drivers on the lead lap besides Scott Mitten. That's Curtis Vollmer, Adam Eisenhower, David Elliott, Greg Bradshaw, and John Sterling. So everybody's still getting their laps back, though, the hard way from Scott Mitten. Yeah, if a caution doesn't come out anytime soon, Scott Mitten will end up doing more harm than good to himself. Unfortunately, he might already have done more harm than good this far, but it's all about a gamble. He already has a strategy in mind, and hopefully it ends up working out because the race is still not over. Oh, he goes sideways off turn number 2. Oh, man. The old tires definitely taking quite the effect on his machine. Is he going to pit in this time? He's backing it down. Yes, Mitten going down pit road as we speak. Oh, almost got caught speeding there. With old tires, it makes it extra difficult to pit in, but he's able to not get caught speeding. Great job by Scott Mitten, and that finally concludes our second and final round of green flag pit stops. And now 9 laps to go. I repeat, 9 laps remaining in tonight's race. It is go time. And ladies and gentlemen, in the regular race season, we had one drop week, but that drop week does not, well, basically the Chase series does not have a drop week. So unfortunately for all those Chase contenders who had a rough night tonight or maybe even last week, unfortunately there's no way to get around those bad races. Besides just showing up and doing their best and trying to just hope for a better week, the weeks they race. So in the case of Gary Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, Bryce Whitson, those drivers who had a rough night tonight, we look forward to seeing them back still next week. After next week at Pocono Raceway to better their chances here in the Chase series. But so far, Chase race contender Curtis Vollmer is still in the lead, and the caution flies this time around with 7 laps to go. Gonna see what happened.
Oh man, that's going to include the 12 of Brandon Ketchum and Scott Mitten here. As we're going to go back, take a look, see what happened. As Scott Mitten was on fresher tires, Brandon Ketchum was down underneath. And Scott Mitten just lost it. It came across him. Brandon Ketchum nowhere to go. They both get sideways down in the grass to bring out a caution here with 7 laps to go.
Oh man, that's very unfortunate for both drivers involved. And looking at it, Scott Mitten was the only driver. Well, Scott Mitten, Ralph Van der Forst, and Randy Perdue all decided to take 2 tires for their final pit stops of the evening. It looks like Scott Mitten's machine got loose as a result of having 36-lap-old tires on one side of the machine, unfortunately. But still very unfortunate for both drivers involved, and Ketchum was able to slam on those brakes enough to minimize the damage. Despite them making contact, he still minimized the damage a lot. So he should be able to stay competitive. Same with Scott Mitten. But going back up front, we are still being led by Curtis Vollmer, Adam Eisenhower second, Greg Bradshaw third, David Elliott fourth, John Sterling fifth, Tyler Holman sixth, Tommy Haynes 7th, Bobby Tinch 8th, Randy Perdue 9th, and Jay Pryor rounding up the top 10. And ladies and gentlemen, since the caution came out with 7 laps to go, we will have a 2 to 3 lap shootout, actually 3 to 4 lap shootout coming up for the checkered flag. Oh man, it's about to get interesting. The gloves are off, ladies and gentlemen. There is no more give, only take. So that's 100% take and 0% give. We're going to be seeing a lot of broken hearts by the end of the race. I expect to see a lot of debris on the track by the end of it. At this point, bring the checkered flag home or the steering wheel home and nothing in between. And as I was speaking, we had a lucky dog And that went to Scott Brooks. 94. Scott Brooks able to get back on the lead lap this time around. Congrats to Scott Brooks. And just looking at some of the chase race contenders, chase drivers we have here still in the race tonight. I'm gonna go over this list. Just a refresher once again. Gary B. Whitson, Hunter McDaniel, Jay Pryor, Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillen, Bryce Whitson Jr., Curtis Vollmer, Scott Mitten, Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling, Tyler Hallman, Gary Woobot, Bobby Tinch, including Tommy Massey. Oh, these are chase race contenders. And just scanning the field of the drivers who are still in the chase, who we still have left. Curtis Vollmer, Adam Eisenhower, Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling, Tyler Hallman, Bobby Tinch, Jay Pryor, Gary Woobot, Tommy Massey, Randy Perdue, Joshua Gillen, Scott Mitten, Cody McFadden. Yep, so far seems like those are the only drivers in the chase who are still on the racing surface. In the case of McFadden, Cody McFadden is being shown 13 laps down, but still trucking, and just left pit road as he was getting some damage fixed on that Chevy. And an interesting fact, ladies and gentlemen, we have 9 drivers who are in the chase in the top 10 so far here in the positions, that is. And we are now back 1 to green with the help, being led by Curtis Vollmer with the help of Greg Bradshaw. Outside lane being led by Adam Eisenhower with the help of John Sterling. The top 5 drivers are all in the chase. Curtis Vollmer, Adam Eisenhower, Greg Bradshaw, John Sterling, and Tyler Hallman. So, ladies and gentlemen, expect to see these drivers giving it all they have. We're going to be seeing some 3 wide, 4 wide, maybe 5 wide. Hang on to your seatbelts. Hang on to your seats. Put on your seatbelts and put your popcorns and refreshments away. You don't want to make a mess. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Enjoy the show. At the same time, the next flag will end the race. A 2-lap shootout coming up. Yep, 2-lap shootout. So that means that's 1 lap to get up to speed and 1 lap to race it out. For the white flag exiting turn 4 for the final time here this time in tonight's race. If we end under green flag conditions, pace car dips off, and Vollmer, oh, wheel spin, 87 miles an hour, spins out. Oh, big pile up. Oh, the caution flies, a big junk at the same time. At the start finish line, oh man, we're gonna back it up. Focus on Adam Eisenhower and see what happened.
So we take a look at the replay, just wheel spin right there. That's all it took, wheel spin. But that is going to collect a lot of trucks here. As Adam Eisenhower tried to catch, but it just shot him into the outside wall. Jay Pryor involved, a whole bunch of trucks there. Real unfortunate for that restart. That's going to end the race under caution.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, that involved Bobby Tinch, involved Randy Perdue, Tommy Massey, Adam Eisenhower, Ralph Vanderforst, Jay Pryor, Scott Mitten. Yeah, that was quite the big wreck. And we have Ralph Vanderforst, Mr. Highside himself, Ralph Vanderforst, here smoking up the track. Unfortunately, blew his motor as a result of the impact. But going back up front, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the white flag this time around, being led by Samson Motorsports driver Curtis Vollmer. Looks like they're trying to wait for the pace car to catch up to the field. Yeah, indeed, Pat. That was a sad change of events, unfortunately. For all those involved in that, that's going to shake things up in the points quite a bit. But that was actually that actually benefited quite a few drivers who were able to get past that. So it's gonna a lot of unhappy drivers, but some happy drivers out there. A lucky dog issued by the to the 5-0 of Scott Mitten. Scott Mitten getting his lap back on the final lap of the evening and is now back on the lead lap. Congrats to Scott Mitten. Unfortunately, had some bad luck due to pit strategy, where he ended up staying out way too long and not getting the caution that he was hoping for. And so far, we are still being led by Curtis Vollmer, John Sterling second, Greg Bradshaw third, Tyler Hallman fourth, Tommy Emasi fifth, David Elliott sixth, Randy Perdue seventh, Gary Woobot eighth, Joshua Gillen ninth, and Bobby Tinch rounding up the top 10. And for the final time, exiting turn 4, ladies and gentlemen, Curtis Vollmer, Samson Motorsports driver, brings this thing home unchallenged at pace speed 65 miles per hour for his first win in the Chase Series and all season long, for that matter. And it gets around that pace car. Top 3 interviews coming up: Curtis Vollmer, John Sterling, and Greg Bradshaw. So please stay tuned, and hopefully a smoke show from Curtis Vollmer. As we're joined up in the booth by the top 3 drivers: Samson Motorsports' own Curtis Vollmer, Whitson Motorsports' own John Sterling, and Aero Racing's own Greg Bradshaw, all Chase race contenders. We're going to start with the 3rd place driver, Aero Racing driver Greg Bradshaw. Gonna come up there, Greg?
Hey guys.
How you doing tonight?
It's actually Performance Motorsports. I was just in the wrong chat room. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries, I apologize. Well, Greg, tonight was a heck of an appearance on your part, able to come out with a podium finish. How's your experience for Chase Race 3?
A lot of fun. Track was really racy. Truck got to be a lot of fun on worn tires. We were able to mix it up. Got lucky and was able to kind of stay out of trouble and get it up front at the end, and really happy with it.
Absolutely. And also, at one point, you notice yourself racing with some fellow opponents for the chase. In this case, it was Cody McFadden and Hunter McDaniel. You were able to get around both drivers with a 3-wide pass with 15-lap-old tires. Tell us about that experience.
Wow, I didn't know it was 3 wide.
Oh, yes, it was.
But I definitely remember the tussle.
What was going on through your mind when you realized that they were next to you and pretty much giving you a run for your money? What was your strategy?
I saw one of them looked like he went low and got off speed, and I shot to the side, and I guess the other one lost speed too. I wasn't really sure what happened in that moment. I just knew I liked it.
Copy that. Well, yeah, you were able to gain 2 spots, kill 2 birds with one stone. A great success on your part. And how do you feel this sets you up? How do you feel about the Chase Series this far with this win, with this finish?
Really happy. Had a 14th last week, so needed a good finish this week. Happy to get it. Hope to keep the momentum and keep going through this thing.
10-4, brother. Hopefully, go celebrate any final words.
I just want to thank Performance Motorsports, my teammates over there, Rick Donovan, Extreme Motorsports 99. Appreciate the admins doing what they do, and my fellow racers. Thanks to the fans out there and for you guys broadcasting these races as well as you do. Appreciate you.
Well, you were able to gain 11 spots this week. We look forward to seeing you gain 2 more spots after next week, Pocono Raceway for Chase Race 3 for your first win in the Chase Series. Have a good one, buddy. Go celebrate. You earned it.
Thanks.
That was Performance Motorsports driver Greg Bradshaw. But next in line is one of the heaviest aliens this season, 88 of John Sterling with the Whitson Motorsports team. That's Whitson Motorsports. Get a copy there, John?
Yeah, got a copy.
How are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing great. Back in the top 3, I see.
Oh, indeed. As usual, man, you were able to just pretty much make your name known, make your presence known in the rear view of every single driver on the racing surface. Last week at Iowa, you were able to finish in the 9th place spot, and this week, moving up 7 spots to 2nd place. What was your strategy into tonight's race?
Just trying to save the tires, going for the long run passes. The number 8, 88 Whitson Motorsports Exalted Chevy Silverado. Almost had something for Curtis there at the end, but I kind of scraped the wall coming off at 2, won the laps, and kind of dropped back a few spots, and just working our way back up to 2nd place. I kind of feel bad for my teammates. They all got caught up in some bad accidents, and they had some good runs going as well. But overall, pretty good race.
Oh, indeed. And speaking of scraping the wall, John, we noticed you were one of the drivers who was trying to get the outside line to work. Actually, you were able to also make some passes on the outside, which was quite difficult. What was your strategy? How were you able to make that stick that well?
Just kind of letting the car settle and then just punching the gas, essentially. Turns 3 and 4 was pretty easy to run the high line. It's 1 and 2 was the tight quarter, and you just had to time the apex correctly, and you could get a pretty good run off of it.
Well, congrats on your success here, gaining 7 spots from last week's race at Iowa. And now hopefully 1 spot higher for the next race at Pocono Raceway. Well, we know you're ready to go celebrate. Any final words before you go? Any thoughts?
Yes, since none of my teammates made top 3, I got to announce both websites. For Whitson Motorsports, we're doing Life for Leukemia 2018 this year. We got 2 websites. We got pledgeit.org/Laps-for-Leukemia-2018 and beatthematch.org. It's going towards a good cause. It helps out cancer patients who need bone marrow transplants. And I believe our next race is June 23rd at Watkins Glen. So if anybody can go to those websites, sign up to be a donor or donate towards the cause, and check out the schedule. You can see our races live when we're running them.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's for a great cause. Check them out. That's pledgeit.org/Laps-for-Leukemia 2018, and also bethematch.org. And thank you very much for what you're doing there, John, for an amazing cause and great success on your parts tonight. See you again 1 spot higher in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
All right, thank you guys.
That was Whitson Motorsports driver John Sterling, but next in line is our winner, 48 of Curtis Vollmer with the Samson Motorsports team. Get up there, Curtis.
Woo! Yeah, how about
man?
that?
Oh, man.
Buddy, that was a hell of a restart, huh?
That was a restart and a half. I'm surprised you were able to get past that. Well, I'm glad you were able to get past that before everything went sideways. But man, tonight's race was not easy for you. I know you had a lot of competition, but what was your strategy that worked so well tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, this Lowe's Stars and Stripes 48 Samson Motorsports was really strong from the get-go. You know, we didn't practice so good. We made some adjustments, and then as the runs went on, a couple of those runs, 13 had the fast car. Me and him clearly were pulling the field, but there were some late creepers in there. The 88, he was keeping me honest, and there at the end, and Adam Eisenhower, he ran me pretty good there. We went that nice little green flag run, but it's all about the 48 tonight. That's all I got to say. Thing was fast.
Oh, yes, it was. Also, speaking of the green flag pit stops too, Curtis, the final green flag pit stop, you were able to have the fastest pit stop, which was, I believe, 13.9 seconds versus your opponent, the Adam, who had a 14.1 second pit stop. You guys were able to find each other. What went into basically what was going on through your mind when coming up with your amazing pit strategy?
I'll tell you what, it's the crew we got going on in the pits. We got Mikey running the tires. We got the jack man. We got Brad on the jack, and Zach Ordish up there calling the shots in the pit and just making this car just fine tune every night. Every night we come in, we've been looking for this elusive win all season. We've got 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s in the regular season. I mean, we were just killing it. Our program's been awesome. Tyler and Bobby, everybody's been improving and doing really good. I'm glad Tyler got in the chase. And this is a big win for us tonight. We needed this, after being 15 points back of Gary from last week, and he didn't have a very good day, which sad to say we needed to happen. But damn, I wish we could have raced it. I wish we could have raced it out because she was fast tonight.
Absolutely, man. Well, congrats on your success here all race long tonight, and also this being your first win this season. And also, you also had the you were the points leader at the very end of the regular race season, and that does not go unnoticed. You worked very hard, and it's finally great to see you have your first win here in the Extreme Motorsports Track Series for season number 10. I know you want to go celebrate as well with the Samson Motorsports crew. So, any thoughts before I let you go?
Yeah, just a special shout out, to the Walls, their sponsorship, Wall Auctioneering, Gage Wall, our crew chief, our car chief, and Whitney Wall Designs. We got to give a shout out, always making us look good out there. But Dan Wall up in the booth spotting for me. He guides me right through all that traffic and does a really good job. So special shout out. But really good car. We're looking forward to going to Pocono. We were second, I believe, last season. And we were really strong there, so we're looking to improve and just keep getting #1 spots. So thanks for Extreme Motorsports, what they do, Rick and you guys, Sean, all you guys up in the booth, all the admins. Appreciate everything everybody does. It's a good camaraderie. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Congrats on your success here tonight and great success all season long. We look forward to us hearing how the points shake up starting before chase race number 3. Gonna see what happens the road to the championship. Go celebrate. You earned it. Yeah,
and one more thing, we're running the Stars and Stripes for the veterans tonight. A special shout out to a Vietnam vet, old Jerry, and everybody, all the servicemen and women out there that do what they do for us, so we can do what we do. But we appreciate it. We're a little day late on Memorial Day, but we're running it tonight, and it brought us good luck.
And that was 48 of Curtis Vollmer, Samson Motorsports driver, tonight's race winner, having his first ever win for season 10 in the track series, Extreme Motorsports 99.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a heck of a race, and thank you very much for being a part of it. Chase race 2 of 5. Oh, it's also this season sponsored by the AdvancedSimulationsProducts.com. That's AdvancedSimulationProducts.com, specializing in custom button boxes. So please check them out. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, next week, the Extreme Motorsports is off. That's an off week, so which means Chase Race 3 will be held not next week on the 5th, but June 12th, which is the week after next week. So June 12th is Chase Race 3, the Overtons 150 at Pocono Raceway. Well, Dave, any thoughts?
It was a great race. It's going to be an interesting chase.
Oh, indeed, and also with, just like Curtis had talked about, our points leader, Gary Whitson, having a bad night tonight, unfortunately. That's going to shake the points up, basically. So it's going to make it, maybe Curtis got the lead, but we're going to find out here on June 12th. So please stay tuned for that. And thanks very much for being a part of the action. This race was the Samson Motorsports 128. That's the Samson Motorsports 128 Extreme Motorsports 99.com Camping World Track Series. Check them out, extrememotorsports99.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one more thing. Tomorrow night is Chase Race 2 in the Extreme Motorsports 99.com Xfinity Series. So be a part of that as well, as they also battle to the road to the championship. I am Sean Zulu, and David Everly behind the cameras. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.